Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Captain Shaq here, and welcome to a new series of mod spotlights and space engineers. So every Sunday, myself and Tex have been, trying to survive in our adventures aboard the Skyforge, a small ship gone wild that we've constructed in a solar system full of all kinds of adventure and shenanigans. But a lot of you guys have been asking about the mods that we use. So I've decided, instead of trying to list them all out in the description, which I have done, we're gonna go through them one at a time, and we're gonna do a series of these videos because there are so many mods. Now, this first video is gonna be all about those mods that, they're item mods. They're the little things that make the game a little bit more fleshed out. First up, we've got the control panel mod. Now, you can find all these mods in the description, but we're gonna be looking at the control panel mod and obviously the shutters mod. Now, the control panel works on large and small blocks, and it works just like any other of the button modules or mods that you've ever used in the past, or just like the control panel button that you can set up. It's got 4 small buttons, it'll work on small ships, which you can see here, and you can use it with your shutters if you want. Now, the shutters work out great for, protecting those glass bits, those pieces that could be easily damaged, but there is a bit of a bug with them. If you walk up to one while it's closed, there he goes, yep, you go flying off into space. This works whether or not it's laying on the ground or against a wall, especially if the shutters are in the middle of closing. This is why we go through so many interns here on the XP Gamers. I'm so sorry, Jim. He's not gonna make it. So be careful with that. It's one of the reasons why we don't have them on the Skyforge anymore. You can color them, you can paint them whatever color you want, and they are really cool mods, but I recommend keeping them probably on the outside of your ship and not on the inside and not anywhere near someplace you're going to be walking, at least until the mod author fixes it, because that's kind of a thing right now. It'll also interfere with some of the door mods. We had some issues with that. The next mod, have you ever had a problem when you run out of hydrogen, or maybe you don't want to use your hydrogen, where you can't get to some place that's actually quite small? Well, then you need the ladders mod. Now, this is hands down one of those must-have mods for me and Tex. The reason being, you can get anywhere with them. Now, space engineers back in the day used to have ladders built into it. They said it was too complicated, or there was issues, and they removed them, but a mod author brought them back. Now, this mod comes with 3 different versions of the ladders: the deployable one, which you just saw a second ago, the ones that you can stack on top of themselves, like this, which you can make them as high as you want, and then you just walk up to them, hit the use button, you'll be able to walk up. And then there's a small ship block version that's static. Next up, we've got the Catwalks mod. This is also in the description below. It is exactly what it sounds like. It's a set of catwalks that really fit with the new style of space engineers. There's different versions of them. There's ones with rails, ones with only one side has rails. There's different ramps, different stairs. The stairs even have a emissive light source. So when all your lights are off, or if it's nighttime, the stairs kind of give off a little bit of a glow, letting you know where they are. You can color these, you can use them for decorative objects, like placing them on a wall or placing them on the ground to have grates. And they cast some really interesting shadows if you use them for set pieces, which we've used in the group survival before. And yeah, you can paint them. Ridiculously blue colors. They do make that really cool grate system that you'd see on board like a Star Destroyer or a large ship. So if you want to be able to look through it and see some of your piping. Next up on the mod list is probably the oldest mod on this list. This is the letters mod. It does exactly what you think it does. It's got a build state, it works in survival, and it's just a model of every letter. So you can write out the ship's name on the side, or maybe you want to write out the designation for your hangar bay, or the designation for your landing strip, if you want to have like a landing strip that says 360 on it. Now, I did say that it has build states. These can be colored, but there's only one build state for every single one of the letters, so keep that in mind if that bothers you. Shouldn't be much of an issue, though. And they look great still, even though this mod is forever old. I think I spotlighted this originally something like 2 years ago, and it's still one of my favorite mods because I think the letters look just really good in this style. Next up is a mod that isn't one that I recommend downloading anymore because it's been implemented into the base game, but I have to give the mod author a shout out. This particular mod added slabs to the game. These were half blocks. It's a simple concept, but it added half blocks in small and medium. Now, one of the coolest things about this is if you have builds from back in the day where you used this mod, he's updated it so it will automatically replace itself with the vanilla blocks, meaning you don't have to rebuild your ship, just make sure the mod is updated. Moving on to the cargo section. I've talked about this mod in the past. I've even used it in group survival. This is the DeadTech cargo mod. These are cargo boxes. They work like you think they would. You walk up to the top of them, you can put stuff inside them, and there you go. I'm not quite sure how much they hold, but I think it's balanced toward the base game, and there's a ton of different versions. So you can have a single cargo block like we have on the Skyforge. You can have maybe 3 or 4 or 1 at a corner like you see here. They're colorable, but only in the stripe that you see. And there's lots of different types. So they've got the big pallet stack right here, which you can actually access from the side, so you don't have to use hydrogen to get to the top. And there's different versions to give your cargo bay a little bit more of like a lived-in feeling. I actually like these cargo crates better than the vanilla ones. I think they feel like cargo boxes to me. Now, if you're worried about routing these into your grid for your ship through like the tubing and the piping, you can do that with these two right here. They've got the connectors at the top and the bottom. These do work on small ships, by the way. You can build them. And there's a connector on the bottom, which I'm pretty sure I show in the video, where you can have it piped in underground and nobody will know that there's no actual metal brick underneath it, but a pipe running to it, so you can still use it with your refineries and your assemblers. It'll all auto-draw from them and everything. Once again, you could paint these. It actually paints the straps that holds them down, and it paints the bars on the sides, so pretty cool. I definitely dig it. You can see there's the one that's laying down there with a tube coming out the bottom, so that's how you can pipe it into your grid while not showing all that really kind of ugly piping in your cargo bay. Heading down, this is probably the smallest mod, but one of the most useful. It's a pretty simple concept. It's a control panel on the individual light sources. These light sources in particular, the interior light sources. You can walk up to them and you can change any light just by looking at it. Now, why I love this so much is because once you've built a base, if you've ever done this in space or a large ship, you probably got 20, 30, 100 of these lights. It's really hard to figure out which one is which. If you try to turn it up on your HUD, you'll have all these lights clearing, obscuring your HUD, and you can't find where that one light source is that you want to change because it's not on or it's not that right color. Now you can just walk up and adjust the lights individually. I wish Space Engineers had some kind of UI where we could just go up to blocks and edit them by looking at them. That's not the case though. This mod though does it perfectly. Now a while back, I think it was episode 3 or 4 of the survival streams, I started building a asteroid base and I needed a big hangar door. Well, this right here, the blast door DX11, is perfect for that. Now, it doesn't make any sound, so don't let the audio fool you. There is no sound effect for it closing. You'd think there'd be this big clank noise, but it is exactly what it looks like. Also, it takes a considerable amount of resources to build this wall, and that's a good thing because the health of the wall or any object in Space Engineers is based on how many components you use to build it. Meaning, this thing can take a large amount of punishment before you have to, well, replace it because it's been destroyed. It also works on large ships and stations, obviously. Continuing on is a mod that I continue to use, even though the graphical style doesn't really match Space Engineers anymore. It's the Solarpanels mod. The Solarpanels mod is what it looks like. It's just a variety of different sizes of solar panels. It is in the old style of Space Engineers, which is a little off-putting when you compare it to the new style. Since it's so detailed compared to the old ones, but they still work, and it is one of the best ways to make small vehicles and still have solar panels on it if you want them, because they'll fit on small ships. They're even offset too. So we talked about the small mods and we talked about the big mods. Let's talk about the biggest mod that I've had in this series so far, and that would be the planet of Tartarus. One of the first planets that we never landed on, but we passed by it, was this planet. It's actually called Tartarus by the mod author. The link will be in the description below. It's a desert world with lots of rocky areas and a few patches of ice spread around it. Gravity on it is about 1.25, so you're gonna find that you're not gonna be able to jump as high, and you gotta have extra thrust compared to, say, the green world or the Earth-like world to get off of it. Overall, it's just one more cool planet to have in your world. If you're doing a survival series or a survival playthrough, I highly recommend adding a few planets and making the universe feel a bit more alive and more places to visit. So, all right guys, that's gonna be it for the first of these quick spotlight videos on the mods that we're using for the first survival series. I've got another one that I wanna do on just random small objects, and then I wanna do a series on the kind of PvP mods that are out there that we've been using. So that's coming up soon. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments below what's your favorite mod that you're using in your server so I can think about popping it into mine. Later, everybody.